this Thronica, we've talked about the good, but what about the bad, the ugly, the overrated? Just because Christmas is awesome and fun doesn't mean that we still don't have to hear about all that boring, depressing Christ on the cross crap.
Star Wars is so world-spanning in its appeal that no matter where you go, anyone you meet is bound to be able to name at least one character from the series.
This makes it really easy for the dumb masses to mark their favorite characters in the franchise, but as I just mentioned, they're dumb!
These people don't know shit about Star Wars. They're not in possession of an ever-growing library of expanded universe encyclopedias and novels like The Essential Guide to Characters and Darksaber, where Durga the Hutt builds a bigger, shittier Death Star. Sounds lame. It's awesome.
Something's wrong with my copy of Darksaber, though. The printing office must have made a mistake, because for whatever reason it has legends on the cover. I'm sure that given my reputable contempt for The Force Awakens, you're all expecting somebody like Kylo Ren or Snoke to be on this list, but let me just stop you right there. First and foremost, they're not even canon, so that automatically disqualifies them from this list.
Second, Snoke is an uninspired, unimaginative Emperor clone who exists solely because Abrams and Kasdan needed to create a safe, guaranteed storytelling medium that was familiar enough visually to be like the original saga, but different enough to be technically considered a different character.
It's shallow, and I find it offensive as a man, and as a person.
Third, Kylo Ren is an unimaginative, uninspired, younger, Jewisher Vader. What's that? I can't say Jew anymore? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. And just listen to that name. Kylo Ren? Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren!
That's like if you were to type your name into a Star Wars random name generator and that would be the first one to pop up. Hey, you know what? I think they actually did do that.
They're probably sitting in their fucking conference room like, okay, we got a $306 million budget. Who are we gonna make our bad guy? How about Darth Vader, one of the villains from the expanded universe? Or fucking younger Vader? Perfect! Start casting tomorrow!
Number 6 is Grand Moff Tarkin. He was only in the first movie, but evidently he was popular enough to get his own book made about him, and I never really thought he was that cool, so I guess that's why he's on this list.
Because when I see there was a book about him, all I can think of is how it's not the book I would have wanted, which details his depraved sexual exploits with an underage Admiral Dalla. What do you do when you want to make an evil guy? You make him so evil that his apprentice is even eviler, so evil that he takes over the galaxy and destroys the Jedi!
See, midi-chlorians are pretty offensive, but quite frankly, I don't see what the big deal is.
Well, the Force flows through all things, so really they're just putting a name to it.
See, a wise man once said, "What's in a name?" And that man was William Shatner.
You may remember him as playing Obi-Wan Kenobi in Harry Potter: The Desolation of Smaug. Darth Plagueis was so evil that he influenced the midi-chlorians to create life.
Come on, Lucas. A Sith Lord creating life? You basically made him God? That's lame.
I'm assuming that people must like him considering he had his own book about him, but I never read it.
So just take my word for it. He's overrated. Guitar solo!
Oh, where to begin?
How about with a little background and saying that I've always been a pretty smart kid, but is it really any surprise? My mom and dad were both very smart, their mom and dad were very smart, so naturally they would create some intelligent offspring.
One of my siblings was so smart that she managed to live for an extended period of time as just a brain. A brain! But you saw, that worked out for her.
As they say, third time's a charm, and I was the third child. It took mom and dad 2 tries, but they finally hit their mark with me. Oh yeah, Star Wars. Well anyways, to make a short story long, despite my intelligence, I hated reading, and this was mostly a progeny of the oppressive nature of my education system. When we went to school, we were forced to read. We spent 8 hours a day in a classroom, 1 to 2 hours doing homework, and then you want us to read at home on top of that? When are we supposed to play video games? On the weekend?
No. That's when our parents would force us to waste our Saturdays doing yard work or playing basketball.
Ugh! Manual labor? Exercise? My childhood was tragic. So as a kid, I refused to read. But now, as a slightly bigger kid, I kind of enjoy it. Plus, it makes pooping fun! Until now. I gotta get Jedi. Until now. This book. This fucking book. It almost broke me. Almost. The Old Republic Revan came in to finish the job on that one.
Follow the thrilling adventures of Corran Horn as he discovers himself and awakens his true potential as the Jedi Kieran Halcyon.
What, you don't know about Corran Horn? What, have you been living under a rock since 1998? In part 1, I'd mentioned how the dumb masses are dumb. Wait, no, I didn't. I'd previously mentioned how the dumb masses are dumb, and if you were to ask anyone why they like Mace Windu, the scenario will play out something like this.
Dude, Mace is a badass. Mace Windu has a badass purple lightsaber. When Samuel L. Jackson was cast as Mace Windu, there was no such thing as a purple lightsaber, but Jackson requested it special. That's badass. Samuel L. Jackson is a badass.
I'm seeing a common trend in these reasons, and that they're, not real reasons.
Being cool and having a purple lightsaber doesn't automatically make you a good character. Characters require depth in order to make some kind of impression. Being played by a cool actor does not count. By that logic, every character that Christopher Walken plays should fall under the category of greatest characters of all time, since he's the coolest actor there is. You know, there are even theories floating around saying Supreme Ruler Snoke saying that Supreme Ruler Snoke is actually Mace Windu, which is retarded on so many levels.
What, I can't say retarded anymore? Fuck you!
First, that was a pretty nasty fall Mace took, and second, Snoke isn't even canon, so it's doubly wrong. This film doesn't exist. Its sole function is to return the franchise into a literal money-printing press devoid of all humanity.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm trying to explain to commoners why they're wrong. I didn't get a degree in communication to talk down to people.
You didn't get a degree at all. You dropped out.
I don't need your attitude right now, Eve. It's Thronica. Don't you ruin the one time a year that I get to let loose. After Halloween and Zelda month and Metroid month. I gotta go let off some steam. Oh, at this rate, I'm gonna contract an aneurysm.
You don't contract aneurysms, Chip. They just happen.
I gotta take a break. I gotta get some calories in me. I'm burning up. I'm burning.
That's not all that's burning.
My cocoa!
Boba Fett is a galaxy-renowned Mandalorian bounty hunter and many people's gateway drug into the expanded universe. I've always found his universal appeal kind of endearing, and I oddly enough found out about Boba Fett's return from the Sarlacc in the book Star Wars: The Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels.
Man, had some crazy times with this book. I used to check it out from my school library all the time. And this is actually the new Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels to account for the then new Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Oh, this is the new Essential Chronology. I must have left the new Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels at my parents' house. Oh.
Anyways, these books were among my first glimpses into the universe beyond the movies. That being said, Boba Fett has a similar effect on kids getting into Star Wars. They see a bounty hunter and Empire, think he's cool, and want to learn more about them. So for that, respect.
But people go way too apeshit about Boba Fett. He's like the Rundus of Star Wars. You know, Rundus? Remember him? Rundus from Metroid Prime 3?
Oh God, did you just mention Rundus?
I've been through a lot. You know, ex-girlfriends, torture, murder attempts, genetic manipulation, Donkey Kong Country 2. And I've seen a lot of bullshit in my time, let me tell you. Oh man, some of the things I've seen. Switchblades, angel dust, sexually perverse photography exhibits involving tennis rackets, but this expanded universe being classified into legends. I've been through a lot and I've seen a lot is what I'm trying to say. Things that would downright kill a lesser man, break him. But fiction being categorized into a slightly different section of fiction, there's simply no forgiving that. I am offended to the bone.
And so what do they do with this new blank slate of Star Wars? We're gonna put out a bunch of Darth Maul books. Sure, he only had 3 some odd lines in The Phantom Menace, but he's got tattoos and a double-bladed lightsaber. He's badass. It's like they had this rich, full universe they could have done so much with, and they just said, fuck it. I like ships, I like lightsabers, and I like Hanhar. No, you know what? I don't like Hanhar. Fuck Hanhar. This is a perfect example of the shallow patronizing applied to the casual market. Kids like Darth Maul, he's badass. Let's bring him back in the Clone Wars as a fucking half robot spider thing and write 9 million books about him.
I think they only wrote like 3.
Fuck that! Who even does that?
Selling my soul to Satan was the best idea I've had since I turned Star Trek into an action franchise. Well, it's a good thing he's stuck in the rift between dimensions while I'm in charge of this place.
Lord J.J. Abrams, I fail to see how that pertains to the present situation.
You don't need to see any vision other than my creative vision. Now, write this down. A Boba Fett origin story.
Thank you for watching as always, everybody. Please comment, rate, subscribe, like, and share on all of your social media, all of it, even LinkedIn.